Hello, everybody. My guest today is Michael Johnson. He's the founder of Notablist.com, a competitive intelligence platform for email marketers. Michael, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, I am, Nathan. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Yeah. So you go from, the ditches in Wall Street to email marketing intelligence. How does that work?
I think it stems from boredom. If you're a startup mentality type of person working in a very rigid corporate environment, just isn't going to work for you. You get on edge, and eventually you become bored and leave. And that's what I did. I left for the startup world.
Interesting. Tell us about the company. What's the revenue model, and what's the company offer in terms of value?
Notablist, we're a competitive intelligence platform for email marketers and sales teams. It's a massive database of information on the email marketing practices of brands worldwide. Right now, we cover about 500,000 brands around the world.
It's really smart, by the way, because what I do right now is I just have a little folder in my inbox marked with spam/research, and all these things go there. It looks like have done a really nice job ranking these by Alexa rank or things like that.
Yeah, and we keep enhancing your ability to filter these things in a variety of different ways. For instance, you can just filter out brands that are sending campaigns in, say, Spanish or Italian or whatnot. You can filter them by technology, which is one of our most popular features, actually.
What do you mean by technology? Like Mandrill, SendGrid, MailChimp?
Yeah. I mean, if you're an email marketer, you're using a tech stack to send your email campaigns. You're using probably MailChimp. You may be using some dynamic content providers. You may be using an ad network, or you could be sending your campaigns from a CRM. Sales teams in particular love that information because it's tailor-made for prospecting.
Interesting.
So we have, for instance, some of our customers are ESPs, and they come in and they want to do a search to see who's using ESPX. That's when they're building their prospecting lists. And that's what... Yeah.
And how do you make money? Is it a SaaS platform?
It's a SaaS platform, annual recurring contracts.
Okay. What do the average customers pay per year, would you say?
$7,500 annually.
Okay, got it. You said that very quickly. So it sounds like maybe you only have one price point?
At present, yeah. Well, It's obviously multiple users, we work out discounts, but that's the single seat license price.
$7,500 a year. It's paid annually, right?
Yes.
Okay. And give us more of the backstory. When did you launch the company?
We launched it in 2004. It was an outgrowth of a conversation that I had with my co-founder one summer afternoon when he was getting ready to move out of New York. And I had a friend of mine that actually I'd been doing some email marketing work for him because he was all thumbs when it came to tech. When it came time to do his campaign, I wanted to take a look around and see what some of his competitors were doing, and I found that there was no place to go and just do casual searches for this stuff. Google just was no help. So I did a little bit of market research and saw that there were limited options out there for that sort of thing, and started toying around with a prototype. And I built two versions of the system myself before I brought my co-founder on. And then, of course, once he came aboard, things really started to roll.
You had de-risked the business at that point because you already built the product. What % equity did you give him when you brought him on?
We'll talk about that.
Less than 40%?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So you're still majority shareholder.
It's a nice chunk, but it's a nice chunk, but I'd rather talk specifically.
Have you bootstrapped or have you raised capital?
We've bootstrapped.
That's great. And what is the team size today?
Right now, we are 3. Myself, my co-founder, and a part-time salesperson who lives out in the West Coast. That's
great. And are they all, okay, I was going to say, so are you both based, you and your co-founder, in up there in New York or no?
No, we're completely distributed. I'm in New York City. He's out in Tulsa, and our other guy's out in the West Coast, out in Portland. So it's we're always on the go. Actually, my co-founder and I, we've known each other now for about 7 years, and we've worked on a number of different projects together. We have never actually worked together in the same physical space. He's always somewhere else, and I'm always here.
Maybe that's why it works. You never have to see each other.
Well, we've had our differences. Sometimes it's better that you're not in the same room.
That's right.
That sort of thing is healthy.
That's right. Now, what have you scaled to in terms of total customers using the platform?
At present, we're at 20 customers.
Okay.
Most of those are annual customers. A few of them are consulting customers because in addition to our platform, we do custom consulting for people who are looking to use our data in interesting ways that maybe we haven't envisioned.
Interesting. So you have a professional services component as well.
Yes.
Got it. Just the SaaS model, 20 people paying $7,500 a year. That puts you just there, at about 150 grand a year. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what portion of your business would you say is larger? The professional services stuff, the high touch, low margin, or the no touch SaaS model?
SaaS, definitely.
It's way bigger.
But, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. How do you incentivize your salesperson?
It's strictly commission. But frankly, most of our sales have not come through the salesperson himself, unless you count me. Mm-hmm. Most of the sales have come through network marketing. I previously I led a team that developed a media marketing solution at Critical Mention a number of years ago. So this market is very similar to that. It's effectively the same solution, just applied to a different marketplace: email marketing versus media monitoring. And a lot of my contacts, a lot of people in my network are the sort of people that are interested in the solution.
And give me a sense of growth. You said you're at 150 grand today. Go back 13 months. What was your run rate then?
0.
Oh, right. You hadn't launched at the end December 16. You hadn't launched.
Yeah, well, it took us a while to zero in on precisely what it was, what the compelling feature was that customers wanted. I mean, we'd shown it to a lot of people, and they'd all looked at it and said, "Wow, that's a great idea." But the difference between someone saying that's a great idea and then someone whipping out their credit card is often subtle, and we found that that was the case. Once we added certain features, we've suddenly started getting a lot more yeses than nos. But
you said you founded the company in 2004. So if you just started making money 12 months ago, what were you doing for 13 years? How were you supporting yourself?
Oh, no, I didn't found in 2014.
Oh, 2014. Got it.
I'm persistent, but not that persistent.
I was about to say, that's pretty incredible. You must have had some money saved up or something. 10 years of burn.
Yeah. No, we had a few years of burn, but we were really, resource strapped. We funded it from, basically, my bank account and basically giving up all the consulting income that I was making and just plows into the business.
Great. Yeah. So you would use the agency professional services stuff to fund the SaaS company because it's obviously better to scale that side, and that's where you're at today.
Right. Yeah. So we're at the point now where the product is starting to mature, and we're getting word of mouth referrals. Customers are calling us up. People who know some of our customers, and they're really getting good recommendations. That's great. What's churn today? It's very low. Actually, our first renewals have started coming in, and so far we've had a perfect renewal rate. So great. I'm excited about that. Great. We also, I think, some of what we provide is just data that you just simply can't get anywhere else. Do you do any paid acquisition or no? Not so far, no. Okay, so it's too early to look at like CAC metrics or things like that. Customer acquisition cost. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't run any of the modeling around CAC or LTV or payback period? There just simply wouldn't be enough data right now to go there. Yeah. And so how do you scale faster? You have something that's unique, get people paying for it. How do you go from 20 customers to 2,000? Basically, it's plowing whatever money we bring in is plowing it back into the business. And right now we're focusing on inbound marketing mostly. Using our own platform to promote itself. I mean, one of the best ways best forms of promotion is to take what you've built and show people how they can use it. And one of the ways in which we did. Yeah. Well, I'll give you for instance. You may recall last year, MailChimp decided that they were going to force everyone who was using a platform called Mandrill to become paid MailChimp customers. And Mandrill was just simply massive for transactional email. And then that forced a lot of people out onto the market, including us. We had literally just implemented Mandrill on our platform for sending transactional emails. So a few months after the fact, we decided to go back and look at our own data to see what it was, where all those customers landed, because it was a massive exodus from, I don't know how many customers they said they had, but they all had to find
from where? An exodus from Mandrill?
From Mandrill.
Is Mandrill a MailChimp product?
It is. Oh. And it was standalone product for a while, but MailChimp, for whatever reason, they decided that it wasn't profitable enough for them, or they just wanted to subsume the business into their main brand. So anyone who was using standalones that didn't want to use MailChimp was forced to choose another provider.
And who won? Where'd everybody go?
You know, we were a little irritated. Well, we took a look at it, and we saw that they'd gone to a combination of SparkPost, SendGrid, Mailgun, and to a lesser extent, Amazon S3 or SES. And for the most part, it looks like SparkPost won. They edged out SendGrid by just a little bit.
So that's the kind of reporting you'll do. You'll put content out there analyzing scenarios like that.
Right. And we're working on several of those right now because we've only gotten to the point over the past 6 or 9 months where the data has accumulated to the point where we can really make meaningful inferences from what's in there. And we've only just scratched the surface of that.
If someone came to you and offered you $400,000 to buy the whole company, would you sell?
No. I think I put more than that into it, frankly, between cash and giving up hours.
How would you value the company today? Like not the number, but the process you go through.
The process to value the business?
Yeah, like don't say, I value it at 20 million. Say, I think about it this times this or that, or how do you get to evaluation?
Yeah, you can't look at it in terms of revenue, obviously, because we don't have a lot of revenue, but that's not a situation that's going to remain the way it is forever. I tend to look at it, I think you'd have to tend to look at it as more of a raw startup, but not a raw startup at the napkin stage, but a startup that's actually built their first rev of the product, and they're in a go-to-market situation. So whatever the current valuations are in that sphere is probably something we'd be looking towards.
Yeah. I mean, look, most buyers, are revenue buyers unless it's a highly strategic product, and then the multiples can get crazy if it's, if they really want you, it's an acqui-hire, et cetera.
Sure.
So interesting.
Sure.
So like if I'm going to make this up, if Bezos came to you and they really wanted you from a talent perspective and said, hey, here's $2 million or $1 million, I mean, do you sell the company and join Amazon?
Possibly.
Are you married?
Really, I am.
Would your wife kill you if you told her over dinner tonight you turned down $1 million check from Bezos?
I hope to never have to tell her that. I hope to tell her that we got a $10 million check from Bezos. But no, seriously, I built the business for the long haul. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't sell the business, but our interest is it's not purely financial. I mean, we literally love what we do. This is a very exciting business, and we're solving some problems that really haven't been solved before. So it's from an engineering perspective, it's very compelling, and I think from a business perspective too, it's compelling. Sales teams, in fact, are just gaga over the information that we can provide them, because what they typically get is not information that's specific to email marketing. So, for instance, if you're a sales team, let's say you want to know who is running SparkPost in their email tech stack. Well, if you go to most of the business intelligence providers that are out there, the ones that will tell you what someone's tech stack is,
Siftery, Built With.
Yeah, they're looking at web pages to see, so if you want to know what someone's using in their email, obviously you want to look at the emails, not their web pages. And that's the key difference between what we do and, say, what a Built With does, or Datanize, and so on and so forth.
Yep. Interesting. All right, let's wrap up here, Michael, with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book? You have a lot of choices, it looks like.
Well, most of them aren't business books, actually. I try not to mix. No, right now, actually, I'm reading Priceless by William Poundstone.
Okay. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
None specifically, though. I do have an interest in Tim Cook at Apple. He's, Steve Jobs is a really tough act to follow, and Tim has to follow that act. Plus, he's got to manage with one of the biggest companies in the history of the world, and I don't think that's an easy job for anyone. So, whatever knocks he's taking about maybe Apple's not innovating or whatnot, I think it's not looking at the big picture.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for growing the business?
I think Calendly. Constantly booking demos and whatnot. It just saves me the back and forth of having to schedule meetings.
How many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
6.
Okay, that's pretty good. And you said married. Do you have any kiddos or no?
Oh, she's grown.
Okay, but you still have children.
I do.
Got
I said, and adults at my feet. So those are actually more effort these days. My daughter is up, grown out.
So
of
1 daughter and 4 dogs. That's
That's
funny.
right.
And how old are you?
I'm in a car.
How old are you, Michael?
I'm 53.
All right, last question. Take us back 33 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone at all.
Spoken like a true Wall Street trenches guy. There you have it from Michael. Don't trust anybody. Back in 2014, he went out on his own, launched Notablist with one of his friends for 7 years after really scratching his own itch. They've since scaled the company. It is a pure play SaaS company. The SaaS revenue is the dominant revenue stream. They have about 20 customers paying $7,500 a year. That comes out to about 12.5 grand a month, or about 150 grand per year. Scaling nicely. They just really turned on revenue about 13-ish months or so ago. Too early to talk about unit economics. Wouldn't sell for 300, 400 grand. He's loving what he's doing and totally bootstrapped, which I love, with his team of 2 up there in New York and a sales guy out on the West Coast. Michael, thank you for taking us to the top.
Nathan, thank you very much for having me.